Hello, class. Let's continue with Unit 14 and finish Unit 14. Because it's a short unit, only 2 lessons, this information is on pages 382 to 389 in your grammar textbook. So last lesson, we saw transitive, intransitive verbs, direct objects, indirect objects. In this lesson, we're going to look at phrasal verbs, okay? And then we're going to look at transitive, intransitive phrasal verbs, and specifically transitive phrasal verbs, whether they are separable or inseparable. Okay, so we're continuing with verbs, this time phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs, what are they? Phrasal verbs usually have 2 words, okay? That's why we call them phrasal verbs. For example, I need to take out the trash. Take out is a phrasal verb. We have take and out, 2 words for 1 meaning. The game was put off until tomorrow because of the rain. Put off, 2 words, but 1 meaning. It's a phrasal verb. Put off means delay. Now, the 2 words are usually a verb and a particle. Now, particle are just small words that look like prepositions. So, for example, she gave up cigarettes 2 years ago. So, gave up is a phrasal verb, and it has the verb gave and the particle up. Gave up means quit or give up in the present. I ran into an old friend at the Americana yesterday. So again, ran into is the phrasal verb. It's connected, 2 words for 1 idea. The verb is run and the particle is into. Run into means to see somebody or meet somebody unexpectedly. So I didn't expect to see my friend. We just happened to run into each other. Now, there's a lot of phrasal verbs, okay? We use them a lot in English. So you really should look at page 384 and in the back, pages A7 through A9, and you'll see a whole list of phrasal verbs, okay? You should start learning these. They're important. Here are just a few more examples. You should go over your notes before the test. So go over is a phrasal verb, and it means to review. Please hand in your assignments by the end of the class. Hand in is a phrasal verb, and it means give. Okay, so we saw what is a phrasal verb. Let's look at transitive phrasal verbs and intransitive phrasal verbs. Now, obviously, some phrasal verbs are transitive. And if they're transitive, it means they need a direct object. We called off the party because we got sick. So call off is the phrasal verb. Call off means to cancel. What did we cancel? The party. So in the blue, you see the direct object. Call off the party. She always tries on clothes before buying them. So try on is the phrasal verb and clothes is the direct object. It tells us what she tries on. Other phrasal verbs are intransitive, meaning they are not followed by a direct object. So break down is a phrasal verb. Break down means stop working, but break down is intransitive. So this example is incorrect. Our car broke down it. No. They broke down the car. No. Our car broke down. So break down is an intransitive phrasal verb. So you cannot use a direct object with it. You just use it by itself. Our car broke down. My computer broke down. Okay, now let's look at separable versus inseparable phrasal verbs. Most transitive phrasal verbs are separable. What does that mean? Separable, separate. So meaning you can separate them. The direct object can come after the phrasal verb or in between the verb and the particle. For example, I turned off the light. Okay, turn off is a phrasal verb. The light is the direct object. It comes after. I turned off the light. I can say, I turned the light off. This means it's separable. We can put the direct object in the middle of the phrasal verb, okay? You can't do this with all phrasal verbs, only transitive phrasal verbs. So be careful. When the direct object is a pronoun, like me, you, he, she, it, we, they, it must go in the middle or between the verb and the particle. So here's an example. She didn't pick out that dress for the party. Pick out is a phrasal verb. It means choose or select. And that dress is the direct object. So if we change that dress to a pronoun, we can't put it at the end. She didn't pick out it. No. Because we use a pronoun, it has to go in the middle. She didn't pick it out. Now, there are some transitive verbs that are inseparable, meaning you cannot separate them. If this is the case, the direct object must come after the particle because you cannot separate. So here's an example. I ran into an old friend. Remember, run into is a phrasal verb that means to see somebody without a plan, without expecting it. But run into is an inseparable phrasal verb. We can't separate it. So I have to say, I ran into her at the store. Her, the direct object pronoun, has to come after. Okay? I cannot say, I ran her into. We cannot put it in the middle. When the direct object of an inseparable phrasal verb is a pronoun, it still must go after the particle. So another example, I came across the answer yesterday while surfing the internet. So it's incorrect to say, I came it across yesterday. Remember, like we said before, if you use a pronoun, it cannot go in the middle. So you have to say, I came across it yesterday. All right, that's the end of Unit 14. Remember, these phrasal verbs are very common in English, so I encourage you to continue practicing them, okay? But for now, please do your homework, classwork, and don't forget to turn it in on Canvas. Thank you.